Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. All right, live show number 1, Sunday night. And I should have given a indication of what time I was going to start, but yeah, I didn't, and I'll have to do that in the future. And this is a bit of a test anyway, make sure everything is all right. So it looks to be okay. There's not a lot of buffering, and I think we just need to wait for people to start coming in. So here I am, just hanging out. It appears to be just me at the moment. Live viewers. Okay, I think there's 6 people. Let's see how I can find that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, people are seeing it. It's working. All right. And I'm figuring this out. It looks to be pretty cool. Yeah. John Galt, how's it going? Chili prepper on the East Coast. Good for you. All right. Ray Maduro's here. And Goodbye Mr. Pink is here as well. All right. I got to figure out how to see who's watching. Maybe I can't do that. I'm not sure. We're going to get into it in a minute, but it looks like I'm pretty clear and the lighting's halfway decent, but I've got a surprise for you guys. Tell me how this is. We've got some studio lighting up in here. Yeah, I see there's a little toy stroller there. So I'm professional in the lighting, but the props. Well, let's deal with this, okay? Let's just lose that. So and let's check out what you guys think of the studio lighting. All right, it might be a little too much. Okay, that's that one. All right, and that's the other. These are at 50% power each, and they're pretty heavy duty beasts. What do you guys think? Good lighting? Okay, Ray is giving it the thumbs up. Audio's good. All right. Paul is here. All right, so let's get into it now. What I should have is I should have a list of things I want to talk about, and I kind of do. And feel free to jump in and interrupt it if you want. Okay, but let's. What I'll do, I think, first is I got to set the timer. Okay, because we're gonna limit this to an hour, and we'll get Siri to handle that. All right, and an hour it is. Let me set my bezel on the Timex Q, which I'm still enjoying. And I thought I would start out this live stream by not only marking the time with the there I've got the hour marked, but talking a little bit about my feelings on quartz, because yeah, I mean, probably 6 months ago I would have derided a quartz purchase, and I still don't know how I feel about it, but I will say this. I've for years I've been a mechanical guy, and now that I have a quartz, I sort of feel like I know what it was like back in the day when the quartz revolution happened, and there was mechanical watch people that started using quartz and never looked back. And I think I probably would have been one of those people. I probably would have turned in my mechanical watch for a quartz, because it's you don't have to fuss over it. It just does its thing. It's accurate. I mean, it was accurate on Friday to the 2nd. It's accurate today for the 2nd to the 2nd. And I can take it off my wrist for a week and not have to worry about it. It's just a total game changer if really mechanical was the only thing in town up until that point. And I think I just would have said, I am totally a quartz guy. This is really where it's at. And in a way, it kind of is where it's at from a convenience point of view. And I think if you're not a watch guy, getting a mechanical watch and not doing the quartz thing probably makes no sense. My dad is a quartz man. He has a Raymond Weil. I think that's I want to say it's probably a $600 watch. And it's he likes it, and he thinks it's good, and it seems to work for him. And I've always thought I'd like to sort of turn him on to mechanical watches, but he's not a watch guy. And that little fiddling that mechanical watches need, you need to kind of keep on them and kind of dote on them. And if you're a watch guy, you love that. You love to dote on them and check the time and reset them and interact with them. But if you're my dad, that's not a plus. That's a pain in the ass. And so I think trying to get him into Rolex, or get him to pay thousands of dollars for something that's not going to serve him as well just wouldn't make any sense. But it's been interesting because I've really started appreciating the quartz. I mean, I've got sort of mixed feelings about it because it's a cheap quartz watch, more or less. I mean, I feel like it's kind of quality. Okay, well, I don't want to spend too much time talking about the Q Timex here, but I have not found the quality lacking at all. I mean, the only thing that really is an indication that there's a lack of quality is the fact that the second hands don't hit the minute markers perfectly. And, that's just not that big of a deal, perhaps. So, but as far as I mean, it's a sub $200 watch, but it's not like it's screaming, low quality to me. But in my mind, I know it's a $200 watch. And so it doesn't feel like it has that punch and that, you tend to respect pieces they had to work hard for. And this is, it's a $200 watch, and anybody could have one. But the fact that people can't buy one is sort of part of the reason why I kind of get a little bit of enjoyment out of it. But it does sort of make me look down every now and then and say, like, really? I mean, you really want to wear a $200 watch, for a week or something? So having said that, it's made me ask myself if I want to go quartz, and I want to get, something nice quartz wise. All right. Now feel free. I'm going to check out the comments in a second. All right. But I've got my spiel to work on. All right. And I hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys want to jump in and interrupt, I will take a super chat as sort of shut up and answer this. Okay. So if you want to hijack the conversation, the super chat will do it. All right. But let me talk about what I was thinking, now that I've started to appreciate quartz a bit. Well, I would need a substantial piece. I would need something sort of special. And I think the best quartz watch out there is probably a Grand Seiko. It's got the 9F movement, and they're fantastic watches. Okay, everybody knows that. Am I a Grand Seiko fan? Not really. Can I see spending thousands of dollars on one? Not really. I mean, it's not my brand, is what I'm saying. It's not the brand that turns me on. Okay. If only Rolex were to make a quartz watch, right? And probably people are screaming at the screen now. They do. The all steel 17000. That's the Oysterquartz, which was released in 1977 up until 2001. That could be an option. And if you had talked to me Friday night, I was shopping. I was trolling Rakuten here in Japan, checking out the 17000 Oysterquartz, and I was gung ho on getting one because I thought that's what I need. It's the quartz, it's the Rolex, and it kind of would fit nicely in my collection because, you know, my Rolexes and pretty much all my good watches, they're rotating bezel, pretty similarly looking watches. And even the Hydronaut, which is not really similarly looking, they're very similar watches. And to throw a Rolex Quartz in the mix would just be totally different. Now, have I soured on that over the weekend? My fervor has been tempered for sure, and that's for a couple reasons. Number one is because the offerings are well, I didn't see any offerings that really grabbed me. You know, there was one that had just been serviced through Rolex. That was certainly a contender. No papers, but it did have service papers. But the hands had been replaced. I could tell because the hands were lighter than the lume, the little tiny lume plots, which were tritium that were browning. All right. So not that one. Anyway, there are various others, not a lot with box and papers, some with box. One I think I found had papers, but it was like the condition was sort of iffy. All right, so finding one could be a problem. That's number one. Okay, number two is I don't know if I like the quartz, Oysterquartz aesthetic. And I would definitely be going Oysterquartz because of the fact it's a Rolex. Do I actually like the case and the bracelet? I mean, I don't hate it, but aesthetically, I don't know if it really, it's certainly not my kind of watch. I don't know if it could be. It's dated looking. It looks kind of retro, and that could be cool in a way, but it's really not my style. And maybe that's a good thing, you know, maybe throwing that into the mix would be fun, because if I say, okay, well, forget about brand, try Grand Seiko and get something you like, well, we're going to start getting towards watches that aesthetically look like everything else in my collection. So anyway, am I hell-bent on getting Oysterquartz? Well, if you'd asked me Friday night, I probably would have said yes. The price is right too. They're not too expensive, under around $5,000, which is certainly expensive. But you know, considering what I usually go for, the steel sports models with the pre-ceramic, you know, those are getting to be about 7, 8, 10, and so a alternative at 5 kind of seems like a deal, which is weird. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm thinking no. But yeah. All right. Let's check out some of the comments. And all right. Well, Clive said the other day that Rolex will stop serving quartz very soon. Servicing, I'm imagining you're saying there, Andrew. Well, yeah, according to the Rolex forum, no. Somebody at the Rolex forum asked an RSC, because I had the same question, and yeah, that's a huge concern. You wouldn't want something to go wrong on your quartz watch and take to RSC, and they say, sorry, we don't have the components. You know, if it's working, we can do it, but we need a whole nother quartz movement. We don't have them anymore. That would be a disaster. It'd be a nightmare. But apparently they still have them. But I think you owe it to yourself, if you're looking to get a Oysterquartz, to just call RSC and make sure, just clarify that. And you know what? Well, it's Sunday there. I was going to say I could actually call RSC in the States right now, because yeah, it would be open, but it's Sunday, so it's not going to work. But yeah, that's one of those things you definitely have to check out. Paul is saying GS quartz. Yeah, GS quartz is really, that's the way to go. I mean, if you want really nice quartz, the 9F, the quality of GS, it's pretty much a no-brainer. Why would you get an oyster quartz from 1977. I know it's kind of crazy, but unless you're a hopeless Rolex fanboy, really GS does make total sense. I tell you who has a nice GS is, I want to say Adrian, and he's got the GMT. I'd definitely go for a GMT. I mean, why not get that extra hand on it and that extra function? He's got, it was sort of a limited edition. It's got a yellow, I think that's what he has. I just know that I was checking out the GS offerings like a couple months ago, and they had three. One is that limited edition with the yellow accents, and then they got, I think, a blue dial and a black dial one. And I searched for the one with the yellow here, but I couldn't find it. Nobody's selling it, and it's that's kind of a hot model right now. But they will come out with more. That's the thing about GS. Like, if they come out with something like that and it sells out, they'll come out with, it'll be something different. It'll be a GMT. It'll have a cool color scheme. It might be limited edition, but they will come. More will come. It won't be the same thing, but it'll be different. It's not like Rolex where those limited edition and, well, those sort of specialty watches, aka the Kermit, they don't roll around often. You missed out on the Kermit. You know, it's gonna be a long time before they release something else like that. But GS is not like that, so they'll come out with something else. No reason to panic over that GMT GS yet. Okay. Hey, Matt Stevens, he writes, Oyster quartz is cool, but most people will assume it is fake because it's a quartz. I've thought about that. Yeah, I don't know how I would feel about that. Sometimes it's funny. People will look at your watch. You see them looking at your watch, and you wonder what they're thinking. You wonder if they're sizing you up. You wonder if they're just appreciating the watch. I mean, I was on the train the other day, and there's a young guy sitting across from me, and his eyes looked, they were going right to my watch, and he could have been checking it out. What was it? It was this watch. And I looked the other way, and I turned it so he could get a better look at it. Not like obviously, but just so he could, because that's how I would want somebody to do it, so I could get a good shot of it. But yes, I imagine being in situations where you have that oyster quartz on, people are checking it out, and you know what they're thinking. They're thinking you're sporting a fake watch. What do? Do you say, hey, and so you're looking at this. This is a real watch. Here, let's Google this together. I'll show you what an oyster quartz says. One other thing about the oyster quartz that is apparently problematic, they supposedly have a really loud tick, and I don't know how I would feel about that. I mean, I've got to sort of see an oyster quartz. I think I owe it to myself to just sort of put my hands on one, and I think aesthetically it's really not my kind of watch, but I do want to see one. This has a quiet tick, and maybe this just should be my quartz watch. I guess the only reason why I'm leaning towards something more expensive is because it's got to hurt before you really appreciate it, and it's the fact that this is just it's kind of some $200 watch. It makes me feel like I didn't really work for it. I can't appreciate it, and it's not like it's not a life achievement goal. It's not a life achievement piece, and yeah. So, all right, let's see what else is here. All right, let's see. What is Carlos says something. Let's see what he says. If I can find him. Okay. These comments are kind of jumping around a bit, and so here we go. Okay, Austin. Oh, wait. Here, I just. Oh, all right. This is how this works. Right on. So Carlos writes, "You seem really obsessed with Rolex. Why don't you try a glycine airman?" It doesn't cost much, but it's absolutely gorgeous. Have you ever had one? Well, I've seen one. I've handled one. They are cool. Maynard in Japan, who lives in Osaka. I'm going to be visiting him in January and doing some watch shopping with him. You'll see him in the videos in January and the Osaka watch shopping. He has one, and yeah, I checked it out. You're right. It's not too expensive. I want to say it's around 600 USD. Yeah, there's no place for it. It's got some history to it. Okay, so I'm definitely not saying it's a shitter. Okay, but it is mid-tier, and I don't know if it's gonna. I wouldn't ever wear that watch, and it would get a little bit of wrist time, and then it just wouldn't. And I gotta get pieces that turn me on, and yes, I am obsessed with Rolex. They just turn me on, and so maybe I need to sort of bite the bullet and purchase something like a Grand Seiko to sort of see what it's like. But I have a feeling I know what's going to happen. I'm a Rolex guy. I'm going to look down and say, this is a nice watch and everything, but I really kind of want to put the Rolex on, and I'm going to put it away. I'm not going to wear it a lot. And that kind of happens with the Tudors a bit. I mean, I can sort of respect the Tudors and sort of, I feel like it's sort of a covert Rolex, and the connection with Rolex is there. But yeah, I tell you, man, I mean, when you've got a brand that really appeals to you, what do you do? What is the term? Attraction is not a choice. It's not. I mean, I can't. If I could just click my fingers and be totally attracted to other watches, I would, and I'd probably choose cheap watches and give the old pocketbook a break. But attraction is not a choice. It's not. Very, very similar to women. Oh, somebody sent a super chat apparently, and I totally didn't see it. Let me scroll up. All right. If I miss it, well, call me out on it. Going up to the top. Apparently somebody sent something. Yeah, well, I'm assuming that they get highlighted if they are. I mean, I definitely don't want to ignore anybody's super chat. Let me just scroll down and send a super chat. No reply. All right. You guys are going to have to educate me on fake super chats. I don't know the difference. But all I know is that I don't. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. I think I did see that super chat, but it didn't come up in a colored way, and so I thought it was fake. I still don't know if it's fake or not, but I'm gonna pretend it's not. Anyway, I'll have to educate myself later on what a fake super chat looks like. Let's show this. Rolex sub 168000 transitional. Any thoughts? Yeah, I've never even seen one for sale. I think that would be probably a pretty good investment. People hate when you call them investments. Look, here's the thing. Okay, so that's a sub. It's a really hot model. It went 1680 and then 16800, and that's the 000 you're talking about. And that is, I want to say that has the white gold surrounds on the tritium, and I'm pretty damn sure that's got the sapphire crystal. I think I'm pretty sure. Okay, and so it would be a very usable piece, but people are going to charge a hell of a lot for that. Number one is because they made it for like a really short time. I want to say, what was it? It was like 87 or something. It was like 2 years. I'm don't quote me on that. Okay, check it out for yourself. But it was a really, really short production run. So here in Japan, boy, they make you pay for that, man. It's sort of like the jig is up with these older watches, and everybody's looking at them as future classics, and for that reason, nobody wants to undersell them. They're thinking about 10 years down the road and about what it's going to be fetching 10 years down the road. And so they're kind of trying to charge you prices that are like, 10 years down the road prices, and maybe 15-year down the road prices. And I would do the same. I mean, if I had that watch, I would overcharge for it, because I think it's definitely going to go up. And so what that means is that you are going to be paying a lot for that watch. And would it be very wearable? Probably. It's going to have tritium in it. And, if you take it to Rolex, what could they do? I mean, you wouldn't want them to service it. They might start switching out parts. But if you don't take it to them, how do you know everything is legit? So do you take it to them and just have them look at it and give you an estimate? And that way they make sure everything's, is not stolen, and they sort of make sure everything's legit. You get that piece of paper, the quote, and then you take it to an independent. That's probably what I would do. But yeah, it would be, it'd be an awesome piece. I mean, I just have never really seen one of those for sale, and I've certainly never seen one in the wild. And so I don't know why you're asking about that. I mean, if you found one, and I would love to know the price, I think it would be really expensive. Like, I don't even want to hazard a guess, but box paper, something like that. Wow, that would be north of 20, I want to say. Yeah, that'd be a pretty cool piece. Yeah, all right. Thank you for the super chat. Goodbye, Mr. Ping. I don't know if that was a fake one or not, but you got me if so. All right, let's scroll down to the bottom. Okay, so new topic. Now, a YouTuber, which I think we all know, it was Clyde, and he made a video, and it's an interesting video. And it was a thought experiment. Is the fact that they're making, well, I mean, I don't know if they're really making super fakes, but I guess it appears they are. Okay, are fakes in the long term as a whole a good thing? And so his argument goes pretty much like this: because the fakes are getting so good, it's going to sort of screw over the gray market, and people are going to end up getting screwed, and buyers aren't going to want to buy them. And so and so people won't be able to flip them as easily. And as he put it, it breaks the back of the gray market. And so in that sense, they might not be such a bad thing. I think I gotta, okay, Jay, I see that. Let me finish my thought there. In fact, it says 200 yen from Jay. I swear, guys, I don't even know if these super chats are real, because they don't color like they do on Archie's thing. I don't know. But anyway, Jay's a straight guy, man. He lives in Japan, and he's emailed me, and yeah, I'll definitely answer that. All right. Archie is selling his Rolex Explorer 2 for 6,500 US. Yeah, I know. What do I think about it? Real quick. I mean, I think it's a mistake, but he loves Patek. I mean, you're talking to a Rolex guy, so I swear, like, I know he's got a World Time, but the rest of the Pateks he has, they look the same to me. I don't know anything about the numbers, the 5192s. I don't even know if I don't nothing about them, but they all seem the same to me. And it seems like he's pulling an Austin double Hydronaut, double GMT kind of nonsense, but he's going like, he's really overdoing it. I don't understand it, to be honest, because those watches are not as usable in all situations, and they're not as easily flippable. You can't get out of them as easy. And the whole Archie thing for years was you would go for pieces that were easily flippable. And I mean, that was hell, I didn't even think half the time he thought about whether, you know, aesthetically was a good watch or not. He would just think, you know, can I make money on it? It's a good watch, right? And so for him to just sort of throw that philosophy out the window and go for what he loves is sort of pleasant. I'm pleasantly surprised, but bounds of reason, you know, selling all of the Rolex and the sports Rolex and the professional model Rolex, his last one, the one he just took to singers, he was wearing that thing. I mean, it's his travel watch, and yeah. Now he says he has to, and if you have to, you have to. So, I mean, that's sort of, if that's the way it works, that's the way it works. But yeah, I think I think he would say I have to. It's not a choice. And so in that case, yeah, I mean, when it hits the fan, you perhaps have to sell, but I would try. I mean, obviously, I would try to sell one of the Pateks, but you know, I don't think they move as readily, and I don't know that they're that desirable. So, you know, if he's looking to flip that for another Patek, total mistake, I think. But again, it's his choice. I mean, you know, if he loves Patek that much, what can you say? But if he's flipping it to you know, get out of some debt or something like that, okay, that's another thing. That's fine, and you got to do what you got to do. But it's a shame he can't do that with one of the Pateks, because I think he's just got. I mean, he's real heavy on just a simple. They're lovely watches, but one, right? Two at the most. Hey, I'm not above doubling up. But yeah. All right. Let's see. Hold on. I think Superfake's pressure watch brands to improve and maintain highest quality. If a Superfake is nearly as good as a Rolex is outdated. That's an interesting argument. Yeah. But the thing is, I don't think Superfake will ever perform like a Rolex. And you know, I could be wrong, but I mean, that's crazy. What if the Superfakes, they actually started running just as good, and hell, what if they started running, you know, what if Superfakes overtook the, you know, what Rolex has put together. But let me talk more about what the thing that Clive was saying. Okay, so do I think it's going to break the backs? No, I don't think so, because there's too much money to be made from Rolexes and from everybody. And is there risk? Yes, but people will risk it to make the money. And my evidence there is there are many stolen watches, and there are many watches without box and papers that, you know, which when you see a new watch and it doesn't have box and papers, it always seems to me like, well, where did it come from? That's kind of weird. It hints at maybe a watch that's been ripped off somebody's wrist. Does that seem to have any effect on the gray market? Not at all. Not at all. And I think, you know, it's sort of like it's just something you need to factor in, and something that people do factor in. And I don't think, I don't think that, Superfakes will really have any sort of effect on the gray market. And I certainly don't think it's going to break the backs of gray market. Will people get screwed? Yes. Will dealers get screwed? Yeah, probably. And buyers as well. But people get screwed a little, people get screwed with, stolen watches as well. So, and it doesn't change things. All right. So, Abdul Rahman Shikar asks, are you flipping your Timex Q? Now, I've never sold a watch at all, so I'm not. And this is I'm really enjoying this watch, so I'm not flipping it. but I am going to flip some other watches, a couple of watches I'm not wearing, and yeah, that's gonna. I'll tell you guys right now. You'll see a fire sale video probably in the next couple of weeks. I've got to figure out payment, like how I would do that. But I gotta consult with Matt Stevens about that, because he knows about how to do things, and yeah, I don't know how to do stuff like that. Bank transfer, but that seems kind of weird. But yeah. Anyway, I'm thinking of flipping the Seiko speed timer, the couple of the Vostok, the Vostok Calatrava, a couple of other Vostoks that I have. They're like more modern Vostoks, and Seiko 5s. I'm going to get rid of maybe one of the Seiko 5s. Anything else that I have? Yeah, I think that's it. And we'll see if people want them. Obviously, the best thing is certainly the Seiko speed timer. That's a legitimate, like, serious piece, I guess you could say. But I never wear it, and so yeah. All right. Hey Biggie, how's it going? He asked what's up. Well, yeah, 36 minutes into the live stream, and looks like it's going well. 62 people watching. Yeah. All right. Another thing that I thought I would tell you guys about is, you know, just sort of some secret horological desires that have come and gone. I don't know if they'll come back or not, but you know, I think a lot of people, we don't talk about these things. Maybe if you meet a person and you say, I'm thinking of getting this, I'm thinking of getting this. Certainly people don't make videos about it, and people don't really put it out there. These watches that you kind of contemplate getting, but we all do it, and each one of you, I'm sure, has a list of things that you kind of thought about, and what happens, you think about it, and then when you think about it a little bit more, and you pop over to Chrono 24, or you pop over to Chrono 24 or some other site, you price them, and you see what kind of stuff you can get, and then you think, if you want to kind of spend that much money, and how it's going to fit with your collection, and if it's going to be the one watch to quell that desire for other watches, and that's what we're all looking for, right? And if you think it will, you probably go for it, and if you don't, you might, you know, rinse and repeat with another watch that you've been exposed to. Anyway, it happens with me all the time, and these days the watches that have sort of been niggling at me and sort of whispering in my ear are the following. All right, Sea Dweller, okay, 16600. All right, that's pre-ceramic, and it's I think it's a beautiful watch. It's you know, it's kind of a sub. It's very water resistant. I want to say, what is that, 4,000 feet, 1,000 meters? Yeah, it's much more water resistant than a sub, and it's got the helium escape valve, and yeah, there you go. I mean, I thought that could sort of give me that sub aesthetic in a way, but it's different than a sub. What are some thoughts on it? Well, the water resistance, I mean, it's got a massive amount of water resistance, and am I going to use it in that way? No, but the good thing about that is when you have it serviced, you know, let's say you have that serviced, and then you have, say, an Explorer 2 serviced, right, at the same date. Well, I think it's safe to say, well, or assume perhaps, that if, you know, 5 years down the road, they're both going to be water resistant, you know, in the pool or whatever. But 20 years down the road, which one would be more likely to be water resistant in a pool after 20 years of no service? Well, it would be the Sea Dweller. So I think the Sea Dweller is a a good option for somebody who wants to really stretch out the service intervals, and in a way, kind of save yourself some money, as opposed to something that has like 100 meters of water resistance, like G&T or an Explorer 2 or a Yachtmaster. By the way, Yachtmaster, let me just tell you right now, they should have put that the depth rating at 200. Not as much as the sub, because that would have undercut the sub, but it's a watch to be used on a yacht, right? I mean, it's a water watch in a way. You got to give it a little something more than what every other Rolex has. That's a huge mistake. Just give it the 200, just to, not as good as the sub, but not the same as an Explorer or a Datejust, right? The 200 would sort of split the difference and give it that sort of, yeah, I'm a water watch kind of watch. So anyway, yeah, back to the Sea Dweller. I think it's, you don't see them. It's got the date. The aesthetic has changed, and there you go. So that's one thing. And I don't know, I might come back to that. But that sort of came into my mind, did a lot of shopping, looking around, looking at the options out there, and it floated away. Will it float back? I don't know. The other, you guys are going to be probably not surprised, perhaps disappointed. A no date 14060M, right? Not I've got the 14060, but an M. And of course, if I got it, I would want box and papers. And in fact, I found a new old stock piece. It's pretty expensive, but yeah, it's a new old stock. So yeah, I contemplated about that. Now, that's not I shied away from that pretty quickly, because I don't think that would be a fun purchase for me. I think we all know what would happen if I bought that new old stock piece. I'd hoard it, I'd stick it in the bank safe, and I would wear the 14060, and I would just think about it much like I do the GMT A serial. So yeah, that would be disappointing perhaps, but I don't know, that would be kind of fun. And I love the perfect examples that are, you don't use, you just enjoy, and you can enjoy a watch like that. But and then the Oysterquartz kind of came into the headspace, and that has since gone. And so yeah, and this is this week. So this is the way we go. This is the way the whole watch thing goes. And yeah. I sometimes I feel like it is a bit of an addiction. It's endless. And if I get another one, then I'd have to get another one on top of that, because I want an even number, on free, 2 free starter or 3 free starter. I don't want an odd number. All right, let's see. Let's check out the comments, see what's going on comment wise. Yeah, Paul. Yeah, it's like my 14060, but thicker indeed. Yeah, I don't know if I would like that. I've got to try one on, because one of the great things about the 14060 is the thinness, and I love thin watches. The Hydronaut, something like 11 millimeters. That's a beautifully thin watch, which is very different than a lot of the modern Tudors, which is, I think, the worst part of modern Tudors, that thickness that they've got. So yeah, I'm not sure if I would like the 16600 because of the thickness, but yeah. All right, and Geezer says prefer the Sea Dweller than subs. Yeah, some people do. What does Matt have to say? All right, I have been offered my mint new old stock. Here, let's let everybody read along. I have been offered my mint new old stock auto pre-bond back. He needs money for an engagement ring. God, he's selling his watch for an engagement ring. Man, all right, that's kind of cringy there, but but you got to do what you got to do for love, I suppose. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I bought an engagement ring for my wife as well. So actually, I got the diamond. My grandmother had like 3 diamonds, huge diamonds, and my mother sent me the ring, and then I had one of them taken out, had the ring custom made, and then sent the other 2 diamonds back. I think she got them when she was here, which I'll eventually, like, you know, get those. But yes, but at least tell your friend to not waste his money on a wedding. You know, like a big like wet. Don't do that. All right. Anyway, I've got a bit sidetracked there. Okay. Anyway, your auto pre-bond. Well, Matt, I can't remember that. It seems to me that you had some problem with it, or maybe you didn't. Maybe that's the one you sold before you went to China. Okay, I know. One was kept getting magnetized, and if it's that one, I wouldn't get it. But yeah, well, yeah. Are you thinking of getting? I mean, you've got your usable Omega now, and it's pretty perfect. I mean, you're not going to want to get 2 Omegas, so if you do decide to do that, you'd probably sell your current one. I don't know if I would do that. I guess it depends on how much he's asking for it. Yeah, it says here he'd need to sell his quartz pre-bond. Yeah, 1 in, 1 out. Yeah, that's what I was expecting, Matt. That's the way Matt works, right? Yeah, so we'd have to sell the G-Shock as well. Well, yeah. Could you sell the G-Shock? You couldn't get much for that, could you? $500 watch, what, maybe $300 you can get for that? Perhaps. All right. Yeah, let me go down. Yeah, well, Matt, let me know what you do. I assume if we're thinking about the same watch, then I think I prefer the aesthetic of that watch that your friend is trying to flip. Yeah, that's a pretty good looking watch. All right, and Breadhead, hi, Breadhead. He says, Tudor should reduce the case thickness for 2020 or 2021. Yeah, that's the worst thing about a Tudor, and you know, the worst thing about the current GMT Tudor. And people seem to think they're going to thin out the case and it's going to get more, you know, flatter. But I don't know, and I don't know why that is. I don't know if they have to do that. I don't think they have to do that. I don't know if that's to appeal to sort of a bigger, you know, usually people like that big, but not the thickness. But I have a theory that the reason that Tudor is thick is because a lot of the people that buy Tudors are looking to get into a nice watch, but they're not really up on Rolex yet. They don't know about Rolex yet. And the idea of the beauty of a thinner watch, you know, like a 14060, hasn't really crossed their mind yet. They don't know yet. But the people that do, it sort of puts them off from Tudor. And so in a way, I think it's a way to kind of cripple Tudor and make Rolex more appealing. Because, you know, if you look at me, I mean, I wouldn't get a Tudor because of the thickness. And that's what they want. They want me to go to get a Rolex. And I would obviously, it'd be a lot more expensive, but you know, I would get, say, the GMT Master 2 ceramic over the Tudor GMT, because the thickness would bother me. And I think that's the part of the motivation there. So I don't know what's up with it, but yeah, that's definitely unfortunate. Geezer says, Austin, would you ever get a Daytona? It's interesting that you say that. There's a gentleman here in Japan, and he has a relationship with an AD, and I don't know if exposing his watch, well, I think it's fine. He's got a Pepsi, he's got a new Pepsi, and he's got a Hulk, and they offered him a Daytona, and he passed on the Daytona. And he asked me, and I don't know how. He asked me, maybe, would you want something? Maybe I could help you get something from my AD. And I said, nah, I think I'm okay. And I don't know how serious he was about that, and I don't know. I wasn't really interested in it at the time. But then, that offer, and I don't know how firm that offer was. It sort of sat in the back of my mind, and I thought, well, all right, man. I mean, like, think about this. What would you want? I mean, here it is. Like, let's just do a thought experiment. I mean, you can go to an AD and you can get whatever you want. Do you do it? And I've come to the conclusion that it would be a white dial Daytona. That's what I would go for. But do I want a white dial Daytona? I mean, that's the very best thing, I think, that the thing that I would want the most. But would I get one? I don't think I would. It's not my kind of watch. And, I like more clean dials. Okay. I like other functions more than a chronograph. I like the date more, and it doesn't have the date, and like the GMT function. It's got the polished middle links. I could learn to live with that. And I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, would I actually use the chronograph? And to be honest, I don't think I would. And this is a silly reason, but it's real. And here's why: because you have to unscrew the chronograph things. And I think I would be in situations where I would say, yeah, I could use the chronograph function, but yeah, maybe I won't. I don't know. Maybe my hands would be like dirty, or my hands would be wet or something. And I think I would always want to keep those tightened down. And I can see myself not using the chronograph, the whole thing that it's about, because I wouldn't want to fiddle with those. I know that's crazy, but I can see that happening. So yeah, I've come to the conclusion. I don't think I don't think I would. And I think if I went into an AD tomorrow and they said, hey, it's your lucky day, you can have anything you want, retail price. I don't think I would get anything. Now, obviously, would I get it to flip it? Yeah. But if this guy helped me, I wouldn't flip it, right? It would be a piece to keep. And if it's, so no, yeah, I'm a pre-ceramic guy. I like the 5-digit models, and it's been an interesting thought experiment, because it's made me ask myself, really, what would you do? Of course, what could I get a GMT and then sell one of my pre-ceramics? Yeah, but I wouldn't want to do that. I'd much rather have a pre-ceramic than a modern ceramic. I like the aesthetic more. I like the 120 clicks versus the 12 places for each hour. I think it's yeah. So I'm pretty happy being a 5-digit guy, and yeah. But that's not to say that I wouldn't pick up one to flip. I mean, if I ever walked into an AD and they had a Daytona sitting there, I would say, can you hold this for me? I'm gonna be right back. And yeah, I would definitely flip it. All right, Christopher G, good morning from Chicago. Well, thank you. Hope you're having a good time in Chicago. All right, let's see what else we have here. I can't see the bottom of my screen because this light is so bright. But Terry N says, for 4,000 USD, what watch would you buy? Also, is Grand Seiko an option? Yeah, Grand Seiko is a great watch. See, here's the thing. I'm a hopeless Rolex fanboy. But if you are not affected by that, then yeah, Grand Seiko is awesome. I mean, the high beats, and if you want to go quartz, they're the quartz to have. They're beautiful watches. I think you're not going to make any money off of Grand Seiko, but just, you know, that could be an option for somebody like my dad. You know, you want a nice watch, you want quartz. There you go. There you go. For 4,000 USD, what watch would I go? Okay. All right. So let's say, okay, here's the thought experiment. I've lost all my watches. Big earthquake. Bam, fell in a hole. The insurance company says, well, we've assessed all of your watches, and here's 4,000. That's what we've deemed that they're worth, because they're older pre-ceramic watches. That's something that will probably happen. All right, and so I got 4,000 to spend on watches. What would I do? Ooh, and I see. Here's the thing. What I would do is I would add to that. I would add to that, and I would buy one GMT Master 2 16710, and I would wear it, and I would get out of watches, and I'd say I did the whole collecting watch things. It didn't work out. I'm just wearing this one watch. I'm gonna be like the King of Norway, who's had his watch since 1962, GMT 1675. He still wears it. He's had it over 50 years. Commenter told me about that, so thanks for that comment. Whoever let me know about that. But let's sweeten the thought experiment and just say you can't add to it. You can't add to it. You get 4,000, and okay, well, that takes steel sports models off the table. So I mean, I couldn't get a 146. I couldn't get anything with a swivelly bezel. I could get a hydronaut. I could get a couple of hydronauts. I could get one hydronaut, which is awesome. That could be an option. A hydronaut. I mean, for $2,000, it's yeah. You can't even get an Oyster 34 millimeter for that. New. Oh, you could use. Okay, here's what I would do. Yeah. Okay. Do you get the hydronaut? Or do you get a Rolex kind of older 36 millimeter? I think you could find one, or a Datejust. You could use Datejust, steel Datejust. It would have to be used pre-owned. It probably wouldn't have box and papers, but it would just be a usable piece. Again, it would hurt. It would hurt. No swivelly bezel for me anymore. I might just, yeah, it would either be the hydronaut, or it would be just a steel Datejust for $4,000. That's what I would do. Interesting question. That'd be tough. That would be tough. I love those kind of thought experiments. All right, what do we have here? What do we have here? Let me scroll down and. Yeah. Let's talk about the turnograph. Thoughts on the turnograph? Yeah, we got 2 minutes, by the way, before Siri tells me to end this thing. Thoughts on the turnograph? It's not a Datejust, and it's not a sub, and that's why, you know, I either love the Datejust because it's iconic in its own way, or the sub, which is iconic in its own way. And this is sort of the middle child, and it's not quite that, doesn't quite get the love here, doesn't quite get the love there. And I don't think it's a very attractive watch because it looks like a Datejust, and it is a Datejust, but the bezel doesn't look as good as either a smooth bezel or a what do you call it, fluted bezel. But they're kind of, it would be functional. You'd have your swivelly bezel. That could be an option, but again, aesthetically, I don't think it's a really attractive watch. But if you're thinking of getting it, it could be kind of cool, and if you like the way it looks, yeah. All right. Let's see what Paul says. I see cheap watches. He says, for your information, talking cheap watches, but a lot of fun. I bought an Alpha Paul Newman Dayton Seagull movement with column wheel. Wow, column wheel. Fun watch, and the chrono really is really good out, actually. Well, I don't know what you're talking about, but an Alpha. All right, okay. Yeah, I mean, if it's got a real column wheel chronograph, that's pretty cool. That's one of the great things about a Daytona. I mean, it's knowing you have that column wheel chronograph, unlike something like a Speedy, which has the cam, which is not a big deal, but column wheel's where it's at. But yeah, all right. And ABMO Rose, Austin, do you still wear your Vostok GMT? Yeah, I don't. It's just sitting in the other room, and it just stares up at me unloved, giving me watch angst. And that's one of the reasons why I want to move these watches. I've got like a pile of watches in my bedroom, and it's sort of the unloved children. It's the Seiko 5s, the Seiko Speed Timer, the Vostok Calatrava, the Vostok GMT, the Vostok sub-looking thing, and every day I look and I think, God, like I just don't I don't see a place for them. I don't see once the novelty wore off, then that was it, and that's why I really have to avoid well, certainly mid-tier watches and low-end watches, even though they can be kind of fun, because that's going to happen. And that's what makes me want to avoid something like a GS, because I'm afraid it might wind up hanging out with those watches because it can't keep up with my love of Rolex. Yeah. All right. And let's see, what do we have here? I don't know if this is why are these super chats not colored? Is it because they're fake? I don't know. But I got you, Terry Ann. I guess you pull the wool over my eyes if you gotta put a fake super chat. Okay, but absolutely love your watch shopping vids. Thanks. Oh, well, cool. Thank you. Look, if you guys are, I don't know anything about the fake chats. I don't want to seem rude and like calling you guys, fake super chatters when you're genuinely doing it. And so apologies there if you are, and they're not coloring like they do on Archie's. Thanks, man. Terry N. Well, you're in luck because I have another one coming. I went to 2 stores in Shinjuku, and it's a 18-minute video, and I'm just sort of doing the voiceover now, and it's going to come out. I'm going to finish that, and next couple of days probably. And yeah, some good-looking watches in that video. And yeah, all right, Terry Ann, thank you. Okay. Oh yeah, it's a super shot, not a fake one. No worries. All right, right on, man. Okay, guys. Well, hey, it's an hour into it. I'm gonna do one more comment and then wrap it up. Let's see. Very bottom, we'll do Jay's. What does it say? Oh, they light up on your end. Okay, not on my end. Ah, okay. Well, that explains it. Yeah. Well, that's dangerous because I don't see anything. There's no sort of indication, and hopefully I didn't not give somebody their super chat anyway, but still learning the ropes. This is a bit of a test. Hey, it worked. I mean, it didn't buffer, and we're in business now. All right, Siri says it's time to wrap it up, but we're definitely going to do this again. I'm going to try to do this maybe a Sunday night thing, and we'll see if we can get some people on here, maybe get some Matt Stevens up in here. Perhaps Guido would want to do it. Maybe somebody else, maybe one of you guys would like to do it, but it looks like I'm back able to do it. We're not having the buffering problems like I did last time. And so I'll give a better indication of what time I'm going to start next time. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time.